Hello mystery fans out there, and welcome to a brand new series of paranormal mysteries and unsolved cases. Make sure you also check the other parts of the series coming weekly on this channel. And now let's start with case number 1, where a ghost revealed his own murder to a detective. When the body of 42-year-old David Chase was pulled from a Colorado creek, the official cause of death was drowning, a tragic accident. But his family just wasn't buying it. With no solid evidence of foul play, the case went cold. Years later, a private investigator came forward with a story that would change everything. He said he had a new source, the ghost of David Chase himself, who told him it wasn't an accident. It was murder. Section 1. The Crime and the Victim. On June 6, 1995, David Chase, a cabinet maker from Evergreen, Colorado, spent the day working and then drinking with a local handyman named Matt Orahowski. David never came home. According to Orahowski, after they left the bar, David suddenly jumped from his truck into the frigid, snow-fed waters of Bear Creek. David's wife, Judy, was devastated and immediately found the story impossible to believe. Her husband was an experienced mountain climber who was well aware of the dangers of hypothermia. He never would have jumped into that creek willingly. For 6 agonizing weeks, there was no trace of David. Finally, his body was found 3 miles downstream. The coroner's report stated the cause of death was consistent with drowning, which seemed to back up Orahowski's story. But for Judy, the details only made her more suspicious. The autopsy revealed that David had no alcohol in his system, despite Orahowski's claim that they had been drinking heavily. Even more disturbing, David's neck was broken. His clothes had been ripped from his body, and there were unusual cuts on his legs. His jeans were gone, but his boots and socks were still on. To Judy, it was obvious that something violent had happened before her husband ever hit the water. Section 2. The cold case police brought Matt Orahowski in for questioning again. This time, his story changed. He now claimed David hadn't jumped, but had fallen into the creek while they were illegally dumping brush. But if it was just an accident, why didn't he get help? They were only 50 yards from a fire station and a stone's throw from the bar where people were still awake. Help was less than a minute away, yet Orahowski never made a call. Despite the shifting stories and the highly suspicious injuries, the investigation hit a wall. With no other witnesses and no confession, the district attorney declined to press charges. Matt Orahowski, the last person to see David alive, remained a free man. For David's family, it felt like a killer had just gotten away with murder. When a story has this many strange twists and turns, you can't help but get hooked. If you agree, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what we uncover next. Section 3. The Supernatural Intervention. Months after David's death, the case took a bizarre turn. On October 15, 1995, a private investigator named Phil Harris, who had no connection to the family, claimed he was woken at 4 a.m. by a disembodied voice. The voice was perfectly clear. "My name is David Chase. I was murdered. I want you to investigate my murder. Go buy the Sunday paper." Shaken, Harris did just that. He found an article about David's suspicious death and started digging. According to the story Harris told, David's spirit claimed the night he died was no accident. The ghost told Harris that he and Orahowski had argued over money because David had backed out of buying a truck. The argument got violent, and the spirit claimed Orahowski hit him in the back of the head with a blunt tool, killing him. He then allegedly dumped the body in the creek with help from a younger, unknown accomplice. Section 4. The New Investigation. Phil Harris contacted Judy Chase and agreed to take the case for a symbolic fee of $1. Judy was skeptical, of course, but that began to change. Harris started revealing intimate details about her life with David, things a stranger could never know, like the private pet names David used to call her. Guided by what he claimed were directions from the spirit, Harris led Judy to a local reservoir. He pointed to the spot where David's ghost allegedly said the murder weapon and his bloody clothes had been tossed into the water. The ghost couldn't be sure if the weapon was a hammer or a crowbar, only that it was wrapped in his clothes. But just as it felt like they were getting closer to the truth, tragedy struck again. About a year after he began his investigation, Phil Harris died of a massive heart attack, leaving Judy to face the mystery alone. Conclusion. To this day, the death of David Chase is officially unsolved. The only witness changed his story, the physical evidence was suspicious, and the coroner's report left critical questions unanswered. Matt Orehosky was never charged with a crime. The information from the alleged ghostly visitations, as detailed as it was, couldn't be used in court. Without a murder weapon or a confession, the case remains in limbo. So do you believe a voice from beyond the grave was truly trying to solve his own murder? Or is the truth something else entirely? Whatever happened that night, the story is impossible to forget, leaving behind the chilling possibility that justice for David Chase remains just out of reach. What do you think really happened that night at Bear Creek? Drop your theories in the comments below. And for more journeys into the unexplained, don't forget to like and subscribe.